1, 2, 3, ho!
Hey guys, welcome. I have a couple of pots that have been hiding from last year. They had these beautiful ferns, and these are perennial ferns that you're seeing right here. The size of them can get really, really large. Last year, it got as large as 3 feet wide, as well as even 3 feet tall. They're beautiful perennial ferns. And so I had them in these plastic pots last year that were self-watering, and they were very inexpensive pots. This year I decided to upgrade those pots to porcelain and see how well they would do. Now, this inexpensive pot is a workhorse. I love this pot because it just does its job as far as watering, and I don't have to worry about doing too much. So the thing is, I didn't take those ferns, and they are perennials, and I did not store them properly, so they died. And they didn't make it through the freezing temperatures, and this is one of them here. And I have another one that is on this side here. The problem is getting out the old root ball is extremely tight in there. So I don't know about you guys and what you do to get old root balls out of a pot easily, but for me, I've found a little, I won't say trick, but just a little way to get it out that works perfectly for me. And that's what I want to show you right now. All right, so I literally have a dollar store saw, a little small saw that can't be more than about 14 inches long, I'm guessing. And so what I will do is I will take it, and I've already started cutting a little bit just to show you the demonstration of it. But, and honestly, it probably took me about 3 times to go around to do what I need to do. I just push it off into the pot and I start cutting in a circular motion, and I go all the way around. Now, I've done this about 3 times already. And when you're done, you may have to put your hand in there and separate just a little bit or not, just depending on how bad the root ball is. And now, boom, that's what you get. It comes right out. So that saves me a lot of time, and I hope this works for you. But tell me, how do you get out old root balls from pots easily for yourself? Share. So I think what I'm going to do now, I have a couple of potted plants that have been sitting around. Sometimes I'll buy hanging baskets and take them out and transfer them into a new area. So after I remove my old root balls or plants, you're left over with a lot of debris in a lot of cases. And the question then becomes, some people ask, do you get rid of all the soil and start completely over? I don't always. So I'll tell you why. It depends on what I'm planting and what I'm planting in. The vast majority of the time I don't, because the one reason is it's expensive. Let's just keep it real, y'all. It costs a lot to buy, soil. And you see how I got all these roots in here. Yeah, I'll clean that part out. I'll get rid of most of this top layer. And then I'll come in and add some fresh soil, and I'll add some fertilizer and then plant, with that fresh layer, because most flowers, depending on what you're actually planting, that does make a difference. What I'm putting in here, the roots are not going to go to the bottom of this 20-inch pot. They may go, about this deep or so. It's about that big. And so that's about the fresh layer of soil that I'm actually going to be replacing. The rest of it is just a filler. I don't need to go and put soil all the way to the bottom, because the plant that I am planting is not going to hit the bottom layer anyway. So that's one way you can save money. So I have this really large leaf begonia, dragon begonia, but it's been sitting, even though they will sell these sometimes as sun or shade. Personally, I think they do better in full shade. If it gets a little bit of sun, okay, but this one has been getting a little bit of sun, and the leaves are a bit bleached and not looking its best. I have some that have much darker leaves that were in full shade. So I'm going to add it here in this area, because I do get more full shade back here. But I'm also going to throw in a Kong coleus, which is one of my favorite coleuses. And the leafing on it is just beautiful. Now, here's the thing about a Kong. If you've ever actually grown one of these, it does just what its name says. It becomes King Kong. It's huge. I'm going to see if I have a picture of one that I had last year and pop in. But I'm also going to save money again, cut this right in half because there are two plants in this root ball. And I'm going to position them in two different places in this pot. When I'm done, this pot will not look very full, but I'm using extremely large plants. And at some point, you will no longer see the soil. And let's just see how well it does in these cheap plastic pots. So I'm going to cut this in half. Um, and we're going to have two different plants here, just like that. That's all you have to do. I do this a lot with coleus when I dig them up. And honestly, when I'm shopping for my plants in the containers, I look for this. Coleus is a good one, but actually, I didn't mean to say coleus. With my, oh gosh, why is my brain going dead? Here, let me show you. Sometimes it happens, y'all. It's like my favorite plant, and then all of a sudden I can't remember the name of it. So in this case, I had the hostas. There we go. So there are a couple of hostas in here because this was like a 20-inch pot. It's a really large pot. And I wanted to make sure that it filled the pot in. And they were running about probably $10 a piece. So I looked for one that had 4 different hostas in one pot because oftentimes you'll see 3 to 4. And then I just split them up. But that requires patience. You can't expect to have that glorious, beautiful magazine look all the time when you first plant. You can if you're willing to spend the money. I'm just not. So back to this. I'm going to put these in here, and then I'll show you how this comes out. So I've added the large big leaf begonia and the concoleus. And again, there's a little bit of open space as you can see back here, but I'm not worried about that. It's in an area you really don't see. For now, it will fill out. You will not see any dirt in this area at all as these both start to grow. So now we have 2 plants that came from one pot. And this, I expect this entire pot to get about this large. At least I hope it does. Okay, so I potted up 2 on each side of this little gazebo area. So there's one on this side as well. Now, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. Y'all know I like to keep it real. These pots are filthy dirty. They were white, and I should have taken them out and spray painted them, but I did not. And the reason I did not is because I didn't feel like it. But anyway, so you see how filthy that is? Let me zoom in. But the only reason why I'm not that worried about it is because they're tucked away inside this area. And I'm actually going to raise them up just a little bit. So as the foliage starts to get larger, you'll be able to see the color popping out from all of the greenery. So that's kind of my plan in my head. I'll figure that out. And I could still clean them. I could scrub them maybe. I'm just being a little lazy right now. Some days gardeners are lazy. Let's keep it real. Okay, so I do have a couple other pots I'm going to plant up. And then I have one over here. I have these hanging baskets sometimes. I'll buy them with the intention of taking them out and potting them if I'm not going to actually hang them. This is another hanging basket of another big leaf begonia. And you can see how much the green is so much more vibrant and lush in this plant than the other one over there. And that was because it just got too much sun. This one has a lot more shade and it's much happier right there. Oh, can we talk about the elephant in the room? If you saw my last video, this bird bath has been moved to multiple locations. And the only bird that I have captured on camera so far is the cuckoo bird. If you don't know what I mean, go back to my last video. I cannot capture a bird yet. So I'm still playing with where it needs to sit to capture bird activity. And y'all, I have a lot of birds. So I'm like, why are they not going to this bird bath. I don't get it. So when I walked out here earlier, a cardinal flew out of this tree that I have. If I'm going to show you, that's actually a nest right there. And oh, it's eggs in there. Oh, there's 3 eggs in there. Let me see if I can zoom in. Oh, look at that. There are 3 eggs. Oh. And there's another nest right here. I don't see anything inside of that one. That one right there. Okay, let me hurry up and get out of this area. Oh my goodness. So I think I'm gonna trade out this little ornamental thing that I have some fake flowers sitting in. I'm gonna trade that out and put maybe the bird bath right here next to their home. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, all right, so let me keep going. So I forgot to mention when I was planting those plants earlier that I do use plant tone. This is the first year I'm using plant tone. I've always used Miracle Grow, and I typically buy it in the granules. It comes like a 4-pack in a container. I will also use this to hook up to my water hose to do more extended updates to feed the plants, throughout the year. But this here, so far, first of all, it stinks like crap. Let's just be honest with you. But man, it's some good stuff. I can tell a lot of my plants in the front are so much happier this year and so full after using them. So wanted to throw that in there. I have some in a cup. I usually just get out and I'm going to put some in the bottom of my soil and amend the soil in these pots before I actually finalize planting. So these are sun patients and really, really love sun patients a lot. In the past, I didn't have great experience with them. You can be fooled by things that say full sun and keeping things in the sun. Depends on your location. But I put these in the shade and they still flower quite well. And I think I have one over here that sits in the shade. It's in the original container from where I bought it. I did not transplant it. And you see how full that is. So that's really pretty. And as long as you keep it watered, because if I go 2 days without watering, it's going to look like it's dead. Do not throw it away. Give it a drink. It will perk back up if you don't go too long. But you can also see some of the bleach spots on that too, because it does get a bit of sun for about an hour throughout the day. But for the most part, it is in the shade. So I'm going to pot those up. I am introducing more pinks into my garden this year. Later, you will see why. Later in the year. So I am bringing in lots of pink, and I do have some exciting plans. Okay, okay. I don't know how to hold anything. October. I'll just say that October is going to be very exciting this year. Okay, so let me wrap this up by pointing out a couple of things. I have some really beautiful, dark, like pink burgundy plants I brought in. These are coleus, and my granddaughter gave these to me on Mother's Day, and they've been sitting in the original little 4-inch container, and I'm just putting them in pots. These are temporary pots until I can find, I really, really, really love the blue and white pots. So I'll replace that, but I also have hostas that I planted in the ground back here like a long time ago, a couple of years ago. I'm going to pull those out of the ground and combine them with this plant into some prettier pots. And the last thing I'll show you, the last 2 things, are the 2 blue pots that I planted up. I placed one next to my little thinking lady. And then I also got the dragon wing begonia taken out of its original hanging planter and put it in that pot. And then the last sun patient that I have, which is sitting in shade, and that is okay, is here that I paired with a little angel that I have. I like angels. It's just me, my thing. Now, this isn't real. I will always point out if something is not real and it shows up my video. I don't have a lot of items in my garden that are not real, but on occasion I will do that in areas where maybe I'm waiting to put something else there, just getting a look. Or sometimes it's just a filler. If I'm having a party and I want to add some extra, I might do that on occasion, like this one back here. Well, I never water here, so that's why you're going to see that. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much. I got to get out of here because the red bird has tried to come back, the cardinal, a few times to its nest. I moved over the water fountain, not water fountain, the bird bath here, hoping the camera is facing it, that I'll be able to capture something. I'm so excited about that. Guys, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the likes. I appreciate you all. Have a great day.
1, 2, 3, ho!